All right, guys, let's move on. And I know Sim's going to love this next topic, and it's of all the reports coming out today. Apparently, we've rejected a £20 million offer for Tanguy Ndombele. So, should Tanguy Ndombele get another chance? Iggy, you're laughing already, so I'll let you start off with this one.
My gosh, this guy is the bean in my bonnet. I tell you, man. Ben, I know that he's your favourite either. But listen, this guy, maybe I should move away from Morecambe, but I keep going back to it. For me, this goes beyond technical ability, which he has in abundance. This goes beyond any. We know what he could potentially be, but when I think post Morecambe, it's just not a one-off episode, isn't it? When you think of Spalletti calling him aside at the end of the game at the San Siro, saying you should have been over there, and he didn't quite make the grade, as in being first team football at Napoli. He didn't quite make the grade. I haven't seen anything to make me think that this guy has changed. I haven't, and he still gets. I really listen. If Ant Postecoglou really believes that he can change him around, I'd say, do you know what? Give it a go and see how it goes. 20 million. It's not enough. I'm giving it the price that everyone else is going about. It's not enough. If you think, you know what, get 20 million and reinvest it in someone else that we could do better with. I go back to saying the same thing. We need players that we could say, do you know what, it's a good chance that he will succeed. I just don't see it. I don't see it. Listen, if he does, if Postecoglou can get it out of him, turn on. But the clips that Simba is being putting out on Ndombele, I'm not too convinced, because in training, it's just like, winning the tackle, losing the ball at the same moment. It's just like, I don't know, man.
You want a tackle?
I have murders with everyone about Ndombele, and everyone's giving him a chance as a talent there, and this, that, and the other. And I'm thinking, I'm looking at this guy's eyes, I'm looking at his character, and I'm thinking, is this guy really what Tottenham need? And more importantly, do we need to chance this again when we've seen it happening over and over again? I don't see any reasons to think that he's going to change his ways. He hasn't given me anything to think that he can change his ways, and I just got a feeling I'm going to lose my nut with him during the season when I see him play. I just see that happening again. I don't want that. I don't know how you guys feel about him.
Let's go to Sean on this one.
Yeah, very simple for me, guys. If it's true, and I didn't give it any credibility earlier because I was like, why would anyone not take your 20 million and run? Thank you very much.
Right.
Sign the contract. Sayonara.
I don't think anyone actually bid 20 million, but I think it was just saying that they might want to bid, and aggregators have said, oh, that means it's a bid, but no one's actually made a bid.
Right. And if that's the case, then obviously there's not really a story, is there? But yeah, to me, look, Ange Postecoglou is a typical hard-working Antipodean from that part of the world. If you happen to be someone that's got a bit of graft about you, then you probably have a great personality. And thus far, I think you can point to a couple of stories where you go, this guy's got this ability to convince people about buying into something. He did it with Vicario. He's done it with Maddison. How often do you really hear about, in the introductory interview, about being won over by a story that's being told by the manager? And I think that, look, Ange is someone that's going to win over a lot of people, but winning over versus buying in versus getting blood from a stone are different things. I don't think that Ndombele's talent is in question, but his work rate is very much in question. And is having a manager who speaks in a lovely soft tone and has the ability to convince you to work hard, is that enough? When you're running hard and your body tells you you've had enough, stop. Is that voice of an Australian accent in your head going to convince you to carry on going? I don't think so. I think that Ndombele just isn't cut out for hard work. He's a very talented guy. And listen, if £20 million is on the table, if it is, you have to take it. You have to take it. And in an ideal world, I'm okay with the idea of a bid coming in and Daniel Levy not saying no, but saying not yet. We have to let our new manager run his eye over the player, but just don't walk away, because I've got a good inkling that in a little while he's gonna he's going to come back and say he doesn't want him anyway. And I think that's what's going to happen. You know, for me personally, I think that Ange will want to run his eye over the player, but eventually they'll come to the natural conclusion that the guy doesn't have enough about him to work to the levels that are expected of a player in the Ange system. So if there's any truth to the £20 million bid, I really hope that they can figure out a way to keep it. Sorry, Ben. Sorry.
Sim?
No, I for one would definitely welcome Ndombele give another chance, in my opinion. Obviously, all the caveats are in place. What Ange wants. If Ange really has to look at him and thinks I don't want anything to do with him, and there is money on the table, you have to take it for sure. But for me, the talent that he has, and that he has shown at times in his career, maybe not so much over the last couple of years, but even in the Tottenham shirt, there was a spell under Mourinho who was playing very well.
That's all it's ever been, is spells.
Yeah, it definitely spells, 100%.
Yeah.
But I think the talent that he has, it's so rare, and it's not often found, even in some of the best central midfielders. I struggle to find a midfielder that can do what he can do on the ball in tight spaces. If Ange can really change his mentality and get him to do a lot of the harder work, and you got to remember as well, the hard work is going to be different kind of hard work to what it was under Mourinho or under Conte.
It's going to be harder.
Well, you could say it's going to be hard. Maybe it'll be harder, but maybe it could be harder.
It's going to be hard work. You're asking them to run off the ball more.
Oh, but yeah, but in a different way. It's not going to be necessarily just always tracking back constantly, always getting into your own half, getting into position. Exactly. So he's going to be going forward.
It's the most exhausting style of football.
Yeah, but he's going to be going closer to goal. It's going to be higher up the pitch.
What has told you that he prefers doing the hard work going forward than going backwards? He's just anti-hard work in general.
Oh, we don't know that. We don't know that because all the managers we've had, we haven't had a high pressing manager when he's been at the club, so we haven't seen him attempt that kind of hard work.
Are you hanging on to, is your bring him home rhetoric, are you hanging on to the fact that this guy, we don't know, we cannot confirm, but there's an outside chance that he prefers to work forward rather than
not prefers, but Ange might be able to get him to get into his mentality, to get into his head and find the right motivation.
His legs don't work going the other way. His legs only work going that way.
You can lead a cow uphill, but you can't walk it downhill.
There are players who are much better in a high pressing system than sitting deeper. That's true. Maybe he's one of them. Maybe he's more suited to in a more of a high press kind of running.
That's his only saving grace.
In a system that is always constantly having to run back into his own half and be more positionally disciplined than maybe an Ange system where it's more about hounding the opposition, winning the ball back quickly and having a lot more possession than it is about defending. Under Mourinho and Conte, we didn't care about having possession. It was more about transitions. It was more about when we lose the ball, we get into shape, we defend properly, we track our men, and when we do get the ball, we move forward very quickly. Under Ange, it's going to be different. We're going to be in possession. We're going to be having the ball a lot more, and that's where Ndombele is going to be a lot more comfortable. I'm hoping, this is what I'm positing. We don't know for sure, but I'm positing that Ndombele, if we do have more possession, he would have to do, hopefully, less defending. I'm not saying less running, but less defending than he would have to do under Conte or Mourinho in those kind of systems. We would have more possession. We'd have more of the ball, and maybe in that kind of system, in a right structure that's being well put together, he could flourish. And if Ange can really get into his mentality, get him to do some hard work and some hard yards, we could potentially have I believe in Ndombele that he would be more of a game-changing midfielder in this system than any of our other players in that number 8 position because of his ability on the ball. Yes, there are definitely question marks with attitude, and hard work and all these kind of things. But if Ange can really, if Ange is one of his biggest strengths is his man management. He says that he really knows how to deal with modern day players and really knows how to deal with their mentality and finding what motivates people. And if he can do that with Ndombele, then I think the upsides massively outweigh the downsides, and I think he could even be perfect for that number 8 position, which is a bit more offensive, allows him to be creative. Yes, he's going to do. Everyone has to do hard work in football. You can't get away with not doing hard work. So obviously, Ndombele is going to have to do that. But if we can get that out of him, we could potentially have one of the best players in that position we could find.
Iggy, I see you're trying to come in there. What were you about to say?
No, listen, when Sim puts it like that's his only real saving grace, is that the style of football that Ange has to offer compared to what Conte and Mourinho previously, and I agree that in his time at Tottenham, perhaps the frustration from him was that we went like this way, then we went that way. We went, regardless of how the style of play, we changed 20 million different routes, and he probably got frustrated. Some players are adjustable, others aren't, and he I think falls with the latter. So you're right. When Sim puts it like that, it can. There's hope for him that this style of play might be more suitable for him. But for me personally,
let me put it a different way.
The root of it, I still think that the biggest question mark for me is putting himself out there for the team rather than for himself. Can he do that part? That's the question mark that I have over him. So far, he hasn't shown anything he can. But yeah, in the style of play, maybe there's a bit of hope. We'll find out.
Iggy, would you rather take the risk on seeing if you can get that little tiny bit of blood from the very large stone?
I would sell, man. If I was short, I would sell.
You'd sell for 20,
let's make
right?
it clear.
With 20...
Let's make it clear. I work on percentages of success rate, and that's what we need at Tottenham. So I look at it as overall. So if I have to start
20 plus 10, you go and get Alex Scott. Right? You go and get Alex Scott.
Alex Scott, WeAreTottenhamTV as well.
Is... Oh, I lost you. I'm not sure if I lost you or not.
No, we can hear you, Sean. We can hear you, Sean.
All right, yeah. You take the 20 million. If there's a buyer out there for 20 million, you go and sell him to 20. You sell him for 20, and you go and buy Alex Scott from Bristol for 20, and you pay another 10 in like some sort of extensive add-ons depending on performances. And there you've got a player that might not have the gift that Ndombele has, but has the drive, the hard work, the opportunity, blah blah blah. Plus he's a Tottenham fan. And you figure out not just the immediate, but the future as well. To me, that makes far more sense than hanging on to some dream world that Ndombele is turn around because
I'd go and spend it on someone that's going to give me a better return and succeed or success rate. Certainly, that's what I mean when I go on percentages. You have to go on players that are going to give you a high percent, the least risk possible. And for me, with him, he in my eyes, he made his bed a long time ago. But for the sake of the call, and listen to what Sim had to say on him and the situation of the style of play, I take that on board. And I'm thinking, you know what, that is the only hope for him. But it's still a massive risk, and one that, if that doesn't pay off, where do we go with him? The value of the 20 million will go even less, wouldn't it? So if you said to me, give me $1 million, I'll sell.
Look, the fact of the matter is, I don't think this guy has the fundamentals to play and work hard in a team that we want him to do. And we need players that are going to come in and die for the badge, blood, sweat and tears, and work their asses off for Ange Postecoglou. And yeah, he might do that for the first couple of games, but he ain't going to keep it up for a whole season. The guy can barely complete 70 minutes on a football pitch. How are we supposed to put all our eggs in the Ndombele basket? It's ridiculous. It really is ridiculous.
We're just putting some of our eggs in it.
But it's ridiculous. We shouldn't have to put any eggs. All our eggs should be on people that want to die on that football pitch for the manager. They want to put all their blood, sweat and tears for the badge. And he has never shown that in a Spurs shirt. He's never shown that in any shirt for any club that he's ever played for. So Agreed. I think the guy we need to get rid of this guy. We need to bring in an Alex Scott. We need to bring in a WeAreTottenhamTV, one of these players that are going to come in and really want to play for the badge, really want to play for the manager. The guy just clearly does not have the fundamentals in it. I know this Ndombele has a lot more talent than the guy I'm about to say, but it reminds me of someone like Adel Taarabt, who had all the talent in the world, but didn't have the work ethic to marry them two together. And if you want to be an elite, really good football player in the Premier League, you need to marry those two together, and he has never shown that in his career. So get rid for me.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gone very quiet.
Sorry, Sim,
I agree. No, I agree with you, mate. I agree with you, buddy. 100%. I completely agree. If a £20 million bid is literally there on the table,
I would sell for 10, 5, whatever. Just get the wages off the book.
Yeah.
I think it's worth taking. For me, with the talent that he has, I think it's worth taking the risk to give him another shot. Give him 6 months, see what we could do. If he really is committed to not working and not giving a shit, then yeah, fine, get rid. But
He'll get found out very quickly.
Yeah,
let's be honest.
Potentially, he might do. But
I think he'll get found out before the 31st of August.
Ange
won't tolerate for that. If he's still here by the time the window closes, I'm sure that's because Ange has said he's got something he can work with here.
Why are we giving someone another chance? That's had. It's like I don't know.
Because we've been a mess. It's not just him. The club have been a mess. And yes, it's not. We've had so many players who could have been good players, but have gone under the radar.
Napoli weren't a mess last year.
Yeah,
Napoli
and they apparently want to sign him again. Who knows? Like I don't know. He played 32 games. He only started 12 of them. But yes, they were brilliant. But how can you, when a team is winning 3-4-0 every game, it's going to be very hard to break into that team, isn't it? It's going to be very hard to earn a starting place, because why would they swap out a team? Why would they change a team that's winning by big margins every game? Why would they do that?
Okay,
so obviously they're going to have a set 11.
The examples we're talking about is if you've got a team that's struggling and he doesn't work out because we're a mess. Okay, well, let me give you the example of going to a team that's got it all figured out.
No, that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is I don't think he was that bad for Napoli when he played, is what my point. I don't think he played badly. And actually, he started, I think, against AC Milan and had a pretty good game in the Champions League.
Didn't he give away a goal that game?
He didn't give away. He gave away the ball, and they ran the whole length of the pitch and scored. I want to say he was actually playing really well before that moment.
Iggy, tell us.
He was playing really well. I watched the game. He was having a really good game. Just because
Tim, there's no wrong in your mind.
Leao was quick. Leao was quick.
Leao literally picked the ball up on the edge of his own. Ndombele gave the ball away on the edge of the AC Milan box, and Leao literally ran the whole length of the pitch. I don't think you can blame Ndombele just for that. I think that's harsh.
It's a very weird hill to die on, mate. It's a very weird hill to die on.
I'm not dying on the hill. I'm saying give him 6 months. With the amount of talent that he has, I think it's worth not chucking that away and giving it another go. It's not dying on a hill. If it really isn't going to work, we haven't lost so much. Okay, so we lose.
£20 million
we can lose 10 million on that, whatever. So maybe he'll go for half that in January. But I think it's worth the risk. That a potential upside is we could have one of the potential perfect players for the number 8 position with talent that's not seen in the Premier League with very little midfielders. That's the upside. The downside is we lose 10 million on the transfer fee that we might get now.
And wasting a spot in the squad.
Okay, so he's going to be. Who do we have now in the squad?
If we had an isolated,
who could potentially be better than.
Yeah, but you're wasting a spot in the squad. You could get him out, get the wages out, and you can bring in someone that we know that is going to want to work hard for the team.
Yeah, but not who won't potentially be as good as him. So I think it's worth the 6-month risk.
We know for sure if we bring in another player, if we bring in an Alex Scott, a Tottenham fan through and through, if we bring in a WeAreTottenhamTV, who was one of the biggest workers under Ange Postecoglou last season at Celtic, 100% they will work a million times harder than a Tanguy Ndombele next season for Tottenham.
Yeah, but they don't have the talent of Ndombele. So
yeah, but if Ange Postecoglou
work rate out of Ndombele,
yeah, but that's the whole point. You can't.
Well, maybe he can. He's a good man manager, Postecoglou.
It's a pipe dream. It's a pipe dream. It's a pipe dream.
It might be, but it's worth the risk, in my opinion. With his ability, I think that's worth.
You see what Ndombele does. See what he's doing already.
If Conte was still here, or we still had a manager Mourinho, I'd agree with both of you. I'd rip up his contract. I wouldn't even want a transfer fee for him. But now we're changing the way that we want to play. We're moving to a possession-based system. We haven't had that for 4 years. Ever since we signed Ndombele Lo Celso, forget Lo Celso.
You know what's going to happen, Sim? You know what's going to happen?
We haven't had a system which might suit him as much as potentially this could.
It doesn't mean we're going to have that much possession. Just because we are moving to a possession-based system. There is a massive fallacy in my mind that people think because we're moving to a team that looks a little bit like Man City, that we're suddenly going to play a little bit like Man City. The level of players that we have are not the same level. We are going to try and do this transition where we can keep 70% possession. That, in my mind, is a ludicrous assumption.
Yeah, but you know what? Who's going to help you keep possession is players like Ndombele.
No,
yeah, he'll help you lose possession as well with his work rate.
They're not the guys that fight to get it back. He doesn't fight to get it back. As soon as the ball goes past him, which it will, in a Tottenham team this season, and especially in the first season of a 4-year project, when we are learning this system, when we're trying to figure it out, there is going to be so many times when Tottenham lose the ball in transition, and it's either going to go long.
That's going to happen with anyone. That'll happen with Alex Scott. That'll happen with Arteta. That'll happen with anyone when you're first starting the system.
Yeah, no, but the second that we lose possession, Ndombele is going to turn, see that it's more than 2 yards past his foot, and go, all right, that's not my job anymore. Whereas other players...
Yeah, Romero's got this. Romero will pick it up. Don't worry.
Do you know what it is, guys? I just feel like there's areas of the pitch where we're gonna, you know, the defense has to be sorted out. We have the fullbacks. We don't know how we're gonna play. Are we gonna go real attacking minded fullbacks? You got, you know, Maddison coming in. Bentacle will eventually go. I just think that there are areas that you have to exploit. You have to explore with new players, and I just think he's just. If it was just like we had already a set side with settled players and you just had to have him as the only risk, then I'll probably be to say, do you know what? It's worth it. It's worth doing. I think with how we're going to be setting up, how the new manager is looking to play and wants to play, and also wants to need to get results at the same time. I just think there's, you know, the two centre backs. Then you've got the full backs. How are we going to go there? Then you've got Maddison to settle in. Who's going to be the number 6? And then you include Ndombele in all of that. I just think it's just one too many for me personally. But like I said, maybe I haven't let what happened with the whole Morecambe thing go for me and all the previous stuff. Perhaps
don't let it go, Iggy. Don't let it go.
That's where I've gone wrong. And perhaps you got to think this Tottenham side. I've got to show signs. I'm not saying just on results, but they've got to show signs that we are looking to move into a different direction than what we previously come from. We had such a poor season last season, one of the worst ones I can remember today. And I want to now say, you know what, press the reset button, start again. But I want, and I'm fine with a season of transition. I absolutely am. I won't be putting no pressure on the manager, even after 10 games. I won't be anyway. But I have to see signs of a team moving in a different direction, and we need to help this team, the manager, everyone comes in to do that. And I just don't feel that with the tried and tested, with players that perhaps we know the talent is there, Sim. Undoubtedly, this talent is there, but I just can't take any more risks of things going wrong at Tottenham. And if I can help it, if I can help. You know, that's on them. You know, if a new player hasn't worked out,
I think if you're going to take a risk, now's the time. Right at the beginning of a project where we're not expecting big results, I think now's the perfect time to take a risk on someone like Ndombele, rather than when we're down the line on a project or anything like that.
Listen, to be fair, all right, let's Sim. I'm going to say this.
Have you had a bet, Sim, on Ndombele scoring 4 or 5 goals this season?
There's no money riding on this. It's just my belief.
It's 2 months. There's 2 months.
Don't believe him, Sean. Don't believe him.
We're in July now. We're in July now. If anything, the next 4 to 6 weeks changes, and he starts, you know, we start seeing training, and in Wendy's, and you think, you know what, maybe there's something there. I may even begin to I'll look into reconsider it. But as of now, don't think I'm ready for it, man. I'll be honest with you. I'd just rather just get rid.
If Ange sees him in training and he's taken a good look at him and really decides I don't want anything to do with him, I'm also okay with that, and I think that's fine. That's probably justified with how he's been. If Ange takes a look at him and really thinks I can find what motivates this player, I can really get into his head and try and change mentality, and with the quality he has, I really believe that it's worth taking a punt. It's worth taking a risk.
You're changing the argument.
Not really.
Because let me explain. Because if I think we all have to get behind Ange Postecoglou, we all have to believe in him, right? So
you believe if Ange gives him another chance, whatever happens, he's making a mistake. That's what you guys believe.
No.
Well, hang on, hold on.
If he sees something in him, then so be it.
If Ange wants to give him a chance and see something that none of us see because we're not privy to the intricacies of the training, I will get behind Ange's decisions, just like I got behind, or I will get behind any of the transfers. However, you are now pivoting your argument from what you want to what Ange wants. Forget Ange for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want Ndombele to stay? Yes or no? Forget what Ange decides, because I'm also going to be behind Ange. So if Ange decides Ndombele wants to stay, then I'll get behind it. But that's not the argument here. The conversation is what us as Tottenham fans fancy. I don't fancy Ndombele. Do you?
Do I
Sim?
want? Yeah, I want to give Ndombele another 6 months. Yeah,
Okay.
I would. Yeah.
That's what I'm going to hold you
Exactly.
to, not what Ange does or says.
Look, if Ange gives Ndombele a chance and he feels like he can get something out of the player, I think we all have to back it. And I personally, of course, I'll back it. Of course, I'll back it. But right now, if you're asking me my opinion, it's a big fat no, 100%. 100%. Let's move on and let's go.